And we get caught up in this, if you hurt me, I'm going to hurt you more. I get it. It only feels good for a moment. It's kind of like when you finally scratch that itch and you do that thing that you shouldn't do, but you did it. It's only good for a moment. And then you're almost caught chasing your tail, trying to get back there. That is the dogma that almost every man I work with is caught up in. They're caught in the dogma of doing better and knowing better.
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Today I'm here hoping to be able to interview Joey Wilder. He is the creator, inventor, founder, you name it.
We have Joey Wilder, first time coming on the show.
But at that moment, I had a choice to make. I either hit this while it's hot, while people are hyped up about it, or kind of let it simmer out. And I've been told by many great mentors that it's all about the timing of things. Today's training, we're going to talk about decoding manipulation and how to handle gaslighting and emotional games. Guys, a relationship is not a place for games, but I get it. Sometimes we show up as versions of ourselves that we know not to be true, but it's due to wanting to keep ourselves safe from getting hurt, or just, it's what we were taught. We don't know any better. And that doesn't mean it's okay. But that means that you get to choose to change it and work on it, or you will continue to date the same person in a different body. But guys, how do you stop, and protect yourself from emotional manipulation? Guys, manipulation is everywhere. It's in relationships, it's in workplaces, it's in friendships, it's even in leadership. I know a guy that was really good at emotional manipulation, and he attempted to emotionally manipulate me because I asked when he would be paying the $100,000 back that he owed me. It's still emotional manipulation if you get mad at me for following through on the thing that you have not followed through on. I can only validate your emotions so far before finally I will call you out on what it is. Now, the most dangerous form of manipulation is gaslighting. It's gaslighting, and it's not just lying or deception. It's an intentional strategy to make you question your reality. It makes you doubt yourself, and it makes you ultimately do one thing: surrender control. And if you don't know how to recognize it, you are incredibly vulnerable. And if you do know how to recognize it and do something about it, you become untouchable. You become the healthiest version of yourself. Now, if you've ever experienced gaslighting, it doesn't feel good. It makes you question everything. It makes you uncertain. It makes you just unclear. Like, did this really happen? Am I seeing it differently? But I'm going to talk about the core of manipulation, what it is, and why it seems to work so well, even on those that have so much awareness. Because at its core, manipulation is psychological warfare. Because the goal is to confuse, control, and weaken you until you no longer trust your own perception. And gaslighting is one of the most powerful weapons in this arsenal. But here's what gaslighting looks like in actions. There's gaslighting in the form of denial of reality. That never happened. It's blame shifting. You're the one that's making this a problem. Twisting words. I never said that. Guilt tripping. If you really cared, you wouldn't question me. If you really trusted me, it wouldn't matter. Withholding information. This is when someone is refusing to communicate, they're ignoring you, or pretending to forget important details. And these tactics actually work because they disorient you. Because the more you question your own reality, the easier it is for the manipulator to rewrite the narrative and gain control. Now, you're probably thinking like, whoa, why would someone that loves me do this? Why do they do it? Well, it's to evade responsibility. It's to control your perception of them and to make you emotionally dependent. Because once you understand that gaslighting is not random, it's actually a tactic, you can start and begin to take away its power. When you are in this place of questioning your reality, it was time to make a change long ago. Now, if you're sitting here and you're like, man, I'm experiencing all that, and what do I do? I'm going to get to that, but I want to give some context and some layers here, because I want to share how to spot manipulation before it takes hold. Gaslighting doesn't happen all at once. It's a slow erosion of your confidence, your awareness, and your independence. And I'm going to share a couple red flags just so you can see if you're being manipulated. And this is if you feel guilty or anxious without knowing why. You constantly second guess yourself, even about simple things. Conversations kind of leave you feeling confused and mentally drained. And the person rewrites past events to fit their version of the truth. And you feel like you're always the problem, no matter what happens. If that's you, you are in a psychological trap, my friend. When someone gaslights you, your brain actually starts adjusting their version of the reality. It's like mental hijacking. That's what this psychoanalytical phenomena is called, mental hijacking. This is why people trapped in these manipulative relationships or environments often say, maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I did misunderstand. Maybe I'm just not seeing it in the right way. Guys, that's not self-awareness. That's conditioning. You are literally being Stockholm syndromed in a different vertical to believe something that did not happen because it has been worn down on you. And the longer you stay in a gaslighting dynamic, the harder it is to break free. But once you learn to recognize the signs early, you can actually start shutting it down before it takes root. And I'm going to give you 3 tactical responses for manipulation and gaslighting. Guys, emotional manipulators, they thrive on emotional reactions. They want you to get defensive. They want you to get frustrated or confused because that means they're still in control and you care. And here's the key to breaking free: emotional detachment and verbal precision. You need to detach your emotions and you need to be precise in the words that you're saying. And I'm going to break it down to 3 steps for the defense strategy. You recognize it and you name it. Now, in your mind, call it what it is. This is manipulation. I see it. Number 2, you stay emotionally unavailable. You do not engage in the emotional battles. This means no arguing, no defending, no explaining. And number 3, you set and enforce boundaries. You use direct, non-negotiable statements that block manipulation. It's a boundary for me when I'm spoken to this way, so I'm going to take space for X amount of time and will not be engaging in communication any longer. And I'm going to share some powerful responses to shut it down in multiple scenarios. Denial of reality, that never happened. I know what I experienced. Blame shifting, no, that's not my fault. That's your perspective. I have mine. Guilt tripping. Now, guys, the guilt trippers, if you really cared, you wouldn't question me. If you really loved me, you wouldn't be doing this. I am not responsible for how you feel. Your feelings are your own. They're not mine. Now, the twisting words, and I love this one. The twisting of words. I never said that. It makes me want to pull out a recorder and be like, yes, you did. I respond with, let's stick to the facts. And the withholding information, if we can't communicate openly, I won't engage and I'll be taking space from this conversation. Now, these responses to some people, you're probably hearing this and saying, well, I would never say that. Like, that's just not me. Maybe you should. Because these responses disarm manipulators because they don't give them what they want: emotional control. I'm going to share with you the mindset shift that you need to have that makes you immune to this manipulation Because this ultimate weapon against manipulation is a strong and unshakable mindset. Manipulators can only succeed if they get in your head. And the moment you trust yourself more than you trust them, their power just seemingly evaporates. And here's how you stay in control. Now, you start by detaching emotionally. And you recognize that not everything requires you to respond. You let their words lose their power when you do that. Now, you also trust your gut. And I'm not saying like get all esoteric and woo-woo, but if something feels off, it is. Stop explaining it away. And this next one is protect your energy. Cut off manipulative people before they drain you, because that is their goal. To drain you, to completely deplete you until there's nothing left, and then they're going to keep manipulating you. Because that's the only way they see that they can get love. I'm going to give you this daily armor exercise. Now, if you're someone who is in an emotionally manipulative relationship, you're being gaslit and things just aren't going well, take this, I call it a DMA. It's a daily mental armor exercise. Now, every morning, write this and repeat this. I trust myself. I see things clearly. No one has the power to distort my reality. The moment you stop second guessing yourself, manipulators lose their grip. I know a guy that, man, he's been married for well over 20 years, and him and his wife are both great at manipulating each other. They are great at getting under each other's skin. They are great at saying the wrong things at the wrong time. And in this, manipulators win when they make you doubt yourself, because that's their game. But here's the truth. I remember sharing this with him. You don't need permission to trust your own reality. You don't need permission to trust your own reality. I think many people forget the fact that just because someone says it happened one way does not mean that's truly how it happened. It means that it's their perspective. And it's exactly that. It's their perspective. It does not mean it's truth. But we seem to always take it as truth. But you don't need permission to trust your own reality. You also don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your energy. You know, this reminds me of, I have a lot of people on Facebook that they'll like ask me for my phone number eventually from chatting with me on Facebook. As I bluntly respond, like, we can chat here. I've had people get upset because I was unwilling to share my phone number, and it's like, hey, I protect my energy. Also, those messages, they go to the same phone when you message me here. It's not about withholding, it's about protecting my energy, because I don't let just anyone have access to me. I'm not just going to send you my cell phone number because you say it's easier for us to text instead. Like, the people I work with get that type of access, but I don't just give that away. I protect my energy. And of course, as I started to do that, this person got mad that I wouldn't give them my phone number and said I was an asshole for that. And I was like, that's fine. I am. Because I'm not going to give a reactive response or any response that is not moot to someone who's trying to emotionally manipulate me to give them my phone number. Because when you give in, it is the easier path because you just want to keep the peace. I get it. But as you're keeping the peace with someone else, you're rocking the boat of your metaphorical mind. And it's something that you may struggle to get past, so just don't do it. Don't let people emotionally manipulate you. But don't look them dead in the eye and be like, you're an emotional manipulator. I've done that before. I used to have a nasty habit of like coaching people. I was with them. I'd be like, oh, look, here's what you're doing. I'm going to pause this. I'm going to explain it real quick for you, just so you understand what's happening. Kind of comes off a little condescending, a little like an asshole, if I'm being honest. This is in the past. Now I will get asked after the fact, what do you see that happened? I'm like, well, I see some conditioning of some emotional manipulation, but I'm still here to talk through it. That's a different scenario. If you are actively in an emotionally or physically manipulative relationship, or maybe you're just being gaslit. My son's mom is great at that. You know, saying I tried to do something 17 times. Like, how do I fail once at that? But I tried 17 times and failed? Damn, I'm a fucking monster, guys. That's why I eat cookies. Without the cookies, I'm just a monster. I have a confession. I ate 36 cookies with 10 ounces of steak 2 nights ago. I just need to get that out somewhere. I needed to get it out because that was my form of repentance for the time. I wasn't praying to the porcelain gods, though. I don't know where it all went. Maybe I gaslit myself into believing that I could eat much more than that. I'm just being funny. No, not chewy anymore. These are the chunky chips, ahoy. And Bree showed up last night with all of these things from Costco with the most giant package of cookies that I've ever seen in my life. If I didn't fall asleep last night, those cookies would not still be here. But I'm not here to talk about cookies. Everyone that listens to this is going to want cookies now. Cookie Monster, yeah, dude. I want to touch on gaslighting. The minute you experience this, you need to call this out. The minute you experience this. Because it is such a slippery slope, my friend. And the longer that you continue going, the harder and harder it is going to be to break away. I know this because I experienced a version of this and I was questioning, did I actually do that? I know what I did and what I did not. I have an amazing memory. And I started to question, like, maybe that did happen that way. And it was such a scary place to be because sometimes it's like inception, you know, that idea gets planted. And then the more you feed it, just like any idea, what happens? It gets bigger and bigger in your mind. It starts to overdevelop in the areas that are actually the truth of what happened. I have a lot of guys that share with me different situation. And as he was talking with me, he's sharing with me a story. And I was working with him as this happened, and he's sharing this with me. And I was like, wait. No. That's not how that happened. That is not how that night happened. I met with you the following day. That is not how that night. And he truly believed what she was telling him had happened. Guys, I had been briefed on it the following day. And these are like core details that I was like, no, bro. And I was like, pause, one moment. And I pulled up the call recording and I played it for him. And I was like, we need to watch this right now. And I watched it with him. And I was like, this is what happened. What you're saying is what she said happened, which is what you said here 3 months ago. So it took 3 months for him to get to the point where he did not believe what truly happened. It's really easy to spot a yellow car when you're always being told to spot a yellow car. And that's not about cars. Because I can't tell you why specifically the people we love or people that care about us do this. But I can tell you this. It's up to you to make a choice to get yourself out. And that doesn't mean like just walk away and like, oh, fuck you, later. Life for 20 years, I'm out of here. No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is stand for yourself. You know, use the daily armor exercise to build some fortitude, to give yourself conviction. Lean on what you do know and use these disarming tools to realistically keep truth at the forefront. Because if you play the game with a manipulative person, it's not about who wins. Because if you play the game, you've already lost. I've shared this tool. It's called Gray Rock before. This is a powerful tool for manipulators. Because Gray Rock is a psychological strategy that's used to deal with manipulative, narcissistic, or emotionally abusive individuals. And the goal is to become as uninteresting and unresponsive as a literal gray rock. It makes the manipulator lose interest and stops engaging in toxic behaviors. But here's how it works. In a nutshell, manipulative people, especially narcissists, they thrive on emotional reactions, whether they're positive or negative. They seek to provoke, control, and elicit responses to fuel their need for attention or dominance. Now, the Gray Rock method removes this emotional supply by giving brief and dull responses. Okay. I see. I got it. And you avoid engaging in personal topics or giving opinions. You stop reacting emotionally to insults, accusations, or guilt trips. And you keep conversations neutral and factual without elaboration. You limit the personal sharing so they have no material to manipulate. You start bleeding them out. And here's why it works on manipulators. Because it starves them of emotional supply. Narcissists and manipulators feed off of these reactions. If they can't provoke anger, get any sadness, or really get defensiveness from you, they lose interest. Because it removes their power. Because they control through emotional highs and lows. And when you stay indifferent, they can't dictate your mood. And this final one, or these final two, is it disrupts their tactics. Manipulators often use gaslighting, guilt tripping, or love bombing to maintain control. And without engagement, their strategies fail. And this is the biggest one. Create boundaries without direct conflict. Instead of fighting back, which just gives them more material, it subtly discourages further attempts at manipulation. And you're probably thinking like, wait, when do I use it? Well, you use this when you're in toxic relationships where direct confrontation escalates to conflict. You use this in co-parenting with a difficult ex to maintain peace. I've been there. You use this when dealing with difficult coworkers or bosses that thrive on drama. Guys, for some reason, some workplaces love to have workplace drama. I don't know why. And you also use this when navigating family dynamics with controlling relatives. Guys, when you gray rock and you become uninteresting and unresponsive, guys, I will become a rock. Like, I'm just a rock at this point. Got it. Yeah, no, yeah, I see. I'm listening. I might like start nodding my head no and be like, yeah, I get it. No, what are you talking about? No, I see. Yeah. I just become very uninteresting to talk to. And I'm not responsive. Because the more that you feed it, it's like an amoeba. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And have you guys ever noticed, like, when you feed it, you like start getting even more viscerality? It's like, wait, what? What's happening? I'm yielding now. And then they try to trigger you more by saying something, doing something. Guys, just don't play the game. When you play dumb games, you win dumb prizes. You truly do. And you never win, right? I was really good at winning arguments. Anyone else? Like, I was really good. I almost had like 100% record. Like, always won the arguments. I was like, fuck yeah, won that one. Let's go, team. It's just team of me. Because I'm kidding. There's never a time that I'm trying to win arguments, but there was a time that I was. Because anytime an argument would happen, I would like, right, putting on the gloves. Let's go. Here it goes. I'm going to teach her a lesson today. That would be my inner dialogue. You're going to learn today. When realistically, it just led to more tumultuous pain. Because before we jump off here, here's when you don't use it. You don't use gray rock when you're in a physically abusive situation where disengaging could trigger aggression. And you don't use it when a conversation requires direct confrontation. That's when you set boundaries instead. And if it leads to more emotional suppression, seek help. Gray rock is a defensive strategy, not a solution. And it only works for short-term use to disengage while finding healthier ways to set firm boundaries. That's really all it is. Because manipulators can only control you and win when they make you doubt yourself. That's their game. Here's the truth. You don't need permission from anyone to trust what you know to be true. You don't owe anyone any explanation for protecting your energy, whether that's choosing not to respond, choosing not to hang out with them, choosing not to share, because you don't have to engage in battles that were designed to exhaust you. You ever had someone ask a question like while you're arguing and it's like, why are you even asking that? What's the point of that question? That's an example. It's designed to exhaust you. In the moment you choose to stand firm in what you know to be true, remember, let's stick to the facts.